Okay, so I've been considering how I'm gonna crank this out, and consideration is really, or I don't know, is it this endless kind of honing of what you actually want to do and how to do it. It just gets in the way, and you just have to do it eventually. You have to cut through whatever plans you're making for the honing process, and you have to just jump right in. Okay, so this is me just jumping right in. I wanted to make this new channel to just do this type of thing. It's a very unpolished uh, medium, and I feel like I really need that right now because I will start working on these blog posts and these videos, and then they'll just go on and on and on and on. And I do intend on finishing a few, but I'm so bad at finishing them right now. I have to work on I have to work on that. But what I wanted to make this about was I was thinking I've been thinking a lot about this period of time that is characterized often as a time of tech optimism, or more specifically, internet optimism. Okay? Internet optimism made intuitive sense to people when it was just emerging. It was an emergent technology because the internet then was just basically a bunch of disparate websites, like if you were going to use the internet, it was just finding ways to browse other people's websites and other people's blogs, basically. Like they didn't really have anything to put. I mean, there were like some corporate entities there from the very beginning, obviously. But like when it really opens up to the public and it stops being, it's after the ARPANET days, and you're talking about the, you know, basically the 90s. People were on it, like guys like Richard Stallman and things were on it like way before then. But like when it kind of opens up to a bit of a broader audience, but it hasn't completely taken over the world yet, but people know that it's going to take over the world. There's this intense optimism about it because it's just really fun to go on the internet and just see all of these websites that people are making. If you know just a little bit of HTML, you can make a website and you can put pictures of your room up there. You can write about your day or whatever, and that's lovely. What's more interesting than that? It's just other people sharing their lives. And if that's all you ever saw on the internet, it would be very, very sweet. You would see it and you would think like this will change the world. Um, it will change the world because it's opening us up to each other in a very immediate way, in a very new way. We can share our thoughts on this thing, and it can. I don't know. It's like there was just this feeling that like possibility was in the air about this, and what I believe is that they were. It's like they're right to think that. They were right to think that because I can imagine going on the internet in the early 90s and feeling that. Um, I was born in 2000, so obviously I didn't experience any of that. My whole experience of the internet is kind of after everything, after the fall of the Berlin Wall, after everything, every dream had died by the time I was 15. Every ideology had crumbled. Not really, but that's kind of what it felt like to me growing up. And what I wanted to say about this is that to me there is still a place. There's maybe a few places, but to me there's one big place that I think still holds, it still carries the torch. It is essentially still the fulfillment of the dreams of the internet optimism age. And that place is YouTube. And I know when I say that, everyone's going to think about it's like all of the things that are very obvious counterexamples that are just like inhuman evil that comes from YouTube, and there's quite a bit of that. Um, and a lot of that comes from monetization. It has to be monetized in order to stay afloat, and that means that you have all these bizarre and strange and sad ways that people will uh, beg for money and try and attract attention, like every platform that has monetization attracts this kind of behavior, and it's always very, very sick and sad and humiliating, and something about it feels very anti-human. Obviously, that exists on YouTube. But what also exists on YouTube is that I think it is a very early internet feeling, although I can't speak with any authority on that, as we've established, but it you go on YouTube, and it's one of the only places that people are on regularly where you can just like stumble across webcam videos made by kids in their school computer lab or something, you know? It's one of the only places you can go on and find people making these video blogs and just speaking extremely candidly and honestly about their lives and their problems and their issues. And to me, that is the beauty of what the internet had promised originally. That is the fulfillment of that dream that people had about it. And what got so fucked up is just that all of these like, you know, it got infested with, it got money put into it. People started putting money into it, into the internet in general, and uh a lot of things that could have been like that just kind of got it all squeezed out of them somehow. It's like uh, a very sad thing to see happen, but I think when I think about YouTube, it always feels different. It feels different to me than TikTok, than Instagram, than Twitter, or any of these places. It's like when I go on YouTube, I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. I don't feel like something is being like beamed into my head, like I'm getting like fucking radiation beamed into my head, like I feel like with all of these other things. Um, it still feels to some extent like I'm exploring. I never felt like that on Vine. I hate to say it. I know a lot of people liked Vine. I thought, obviously there are some funny things that came from there, but I kind of felt the same way on Vine. Whenever I would use Vine, it would be like, I feel like I'm kind of wasting my time on this. I feel like I'm kind of wasting my time, and I would rather be on YouTube. Uh, because YouTube felt more substantial, because I think it is more substantial. I think the things people make for YouTube are more substantial uh, than any of these other places. And so I wanted to contribute to that with these. I guess these are video blogs, although I'm just recording audio. But I, yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. So um, hope you enjoy. There will be hopefully a lot more of these to come.